Good evening. You are watching Newsplus right here on Zichin Prime. It is a Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Faith Nyaude. A quick look at stories making the headlines tonight. Zimbabweans have been urged to come out in large numbers to bid farewell to national hero Dr. Gata, who will be buried at the National Heroes Acre tomorrow. President Mnangagwa will preside over the burial, which will be broadcast live on our Facebook and YouTube channels. We'll look at the latest gross domestic product figures, which indicate a major leap towards Zimbabwe's vision to achieve an upper middle income economy by 2030. Pension contribution arrears have surged to $92.92 million for the quarter ended 31 March 2025, up from $67.99 million United States dollars recorded as at 31 December 2024, indicating a 37% increase. Newsplus looks at those figures in greater detail, with focus on how the surge would likely affect pensioners and would-be pensioners. And in sport, we look at Harare City Council's measly 7% budget allocation to sport. Our top story this evening, the late national hero Dr. Gata will be laid to rest at the National Shrine in Harare on Wednesday, with President Mnangagwa presiding over the burial. Dr. Gata dedicated his life to improving the country's power supply and infrastructure development, leaving behind a legacy that will continue to inspire future generations. As the nation pays its respects, Nyaradzwa Butaura takes a look at Dr. Gata's remarkable life and achievements.
In a nation that has known its fair share of darkness, one man has tried his best to shine a light on a brighter future for Zimbabwe's energy sector.
But Gata was an institutional developer. Kana kune nyaya yokuti takaita unbundle ZESA into generation, transmission and distribution. Tikaita vana Zenti iyo wakacreatayo, tikaita vana Powertel izo wakazvicreata. Akati okay, ndozoiza hangu kuti sekuru imwe nambo titoga taizovudzana sekuru kukai sekuru hati ndei mukurima. Ndikati hai nyaya yapenga kurima sei, kukanzi aiwa kuti urime unofana kuva namagetsi, unotokupa magetsi kuti urime nokuti unenge uchida kudiridzira folder especially.
Dr. Gata was not only praised as a visionary leader, but also as a champion of his employees' welfare.
We would not agree all the time, but you would make efforts to make sure that the welfare of employees are not undermined. You played a key pivotal role in shaping the organizational strategy. The growth that we are speaking in ZESA right now relates to how employees were treated. Dr. Gata played a key pivotal role in bringing industrial harmony within this organization.
The body of the late national hero arrived in Harare this afternoon, after scores of people paid their last respects at his farm in Chipinge, Manicaland province. The outpouring of grief was a testament to his impact on the life of many Zimbabweans. Dr. Gata is survived by his wife, Honorable Angeline Gata, who is also Deputy Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Children and Grandchildren.
Dr. Gata wakali munhu wangane ruoko rwekubatsira everybody kubatsira. Une vanhu vakafundisa kubatsira fees zvetisingachazvizivi isusu. Everybody waiuya ichikupirira kubatsirwa waikubatsira. Hiye une project yaari kutotanga yaitanga yaidi kubatsira performance yerudisana. And I think it's still going on. The county is still with the production in middle service. But he intervened. Akataura the farmers, so he's going to help them. kune maprojects akawanda sereka aita.
Dr. Gata has managed to leave a legacy of being a distinguished power, energy, and infrastructure development expert. He managed to dedicate his life to see Zimbabwe becoming power self-sufficient and came up with long-lasting solutions that will have a long-lasting impact in power generation countrywide. For ZTM Prime in Harare, I am Tanyaraza Kutaura.
We now shift our attention to today's post-cabinet media briefing. Now, cabinet has approved new figures from the latest economic census, which shows Zimbabwe's GDP for 2023 has been revised upwards to 168.5 trillion Zimbabwean gold, about $44.4 billion from an earlier estimate of $35.2 billion. The increase is mainly due to improved coverage of new business that emerged since 2019. Now, as a result, gross national income has also risen, with per capita income now projected to surpass $3,000 in 2025, moving the country closer to its goal of attaining upper middle income status.
So in terms of the fiscal framework, we now have obviously a new GDP base figure for 2024 at 45.7 billion, which is up from the 44.5 billion in 2023, which is actually the base year. So that's the first figure. It's just the GDP figure has gone up, and that's what we'll report in the midterm review at the end of the month. So secondly, it's now the GDP per capita, but also GNI per capita as well. So both of those are now firmly above the $3,000 per capita per person, and that's good progress towards the 2030 upper middle income agenda. That means that now we're firmly middle income, but right in the middle of the lower income scale. For to be upper income, we have to hit a GNI per capita of 4,500, and we'll get there.
Still on the post-cabinet media briefing highlights, authorities have restructured the Agricultural and Rural Development Authority as the country's food security agency with a role to produce cereals. Information Minister Dr. Jennifer Muswere said this move is critical in ensuring the country is food secure. The Grain Marketing Board has also opened 1,804 mobile grain collection centers across the country to facilitate grain deliveries.
The Agricultural and Rural Development Authority, ADA, has been restructured to serve as the country's food security agency, with a mandate to produce 850,000 metric tons of cereals annually, and thereby contributing to the strategic grain reserves. The government of Zimbabwe remains confident about reaching a projected grain surplus of between 812,000 and 1.2 million metric tons for the current marketing season, and is providing resources to the Grain Marketing Board in order to facilitate timely payments for grain deliveries by farmers.
Meanwhile, preparations for this year's edition of the Zimbabwe Agricultural Show have gathered pace, with the Zimbabwe Agricultural Society set to celebrate 130 years as more exhibitors are showing interest. This year, the show will be held under the theme Building Bridges, Connecting Agriculture, Industry and Community, and will be held from the 25th to the 30th of August.
The space uptake has shown a significant increase of 60.1% compared to a similar period in 2024. The number of exhibitors has also shown a notable increase of 76.8% compared to the same period last year. A number of business events planned for the show include the Green Endeavor, the annual ZAS School Quiz, the annual National Agribusiness Conference, the Exhibitors Cocktail, the Zimbabwe Agricultural Media Awards, Environmental, Social and Governance Conferences, and Research for Agricultural Excellence and Technology Endeavor.
Now let's turn our attention to issues of pensions. Pension contribution arrears have surged to $92.92 million for the quarter ended 31 March 2025, up from $67.99 million recorded as of 31 December 2024, indicating a 37% increase. Now, while the increase was partly driven by exchange rate distortions, it also points to a worsening trend of employers failing to remit pension contributions as they fall due. The Insurance and Pension Commission says it will now garnish name and shame defaulting companies to safeguard workers' retirement benefits. Our business reporter, Melissa Chatkobo, gives us the details.
He worked for 44 years, but when he retired, his pension was a harsh reality check. It could only buy him a bicycle, a plow, and cover a few school fees. That's the story of many Zimbabweans who suffered Zimbabwe's 2009 currency conversion. For George Ugaro, retirement hasn't meant rest but regret. After 4 decades of work, his pension payout was barely enough to keep him afloat. Now, as a spectator of the pensions industry trends, he fears his loved ones in this generation may face the same trauma he saw in the past.
Contributor pension kusina basa nekuti pakucontributa tacontributa zvakanaka pakuti mari yacho yakuzokuwa mari yako haichabudi zvakanaka ndo pane problem.
And now, as more companies fail to remit pension contributions, that nightmare could return for thousands still working today. According to IPEC, contribution arrears stood at $92.92 million by the first quarter of 2025, a rise from $67.99 million the previous quarter. Although exchange rate distortions have played a part in the change of numbers, the regulator notes a growing challenge of non-remitting contributions by fund sponsors.
To tell the workers that this month there is no salary, we are paying into the pension fund, it creates problems. But what we say is that there should be no compromise. Once you've deducted the money from the employees, hand it over to the pension fund. Hand it over because it's prejudicing the development of the pension fund.
IPEC says it's stepping up enforcement. Plans are underway to garnish the bank accounts of companies that are not remitting and publicly name and shame them. But for many workers, the fear remains that what happened to George could happen to them.
We are also naming and shaming. So we are actually publishing the list of employers who are not remitting, the defaulting employers, so that the employees can be aware that my employer is not remitting. So we call it naming and shaming.
For many, a pension is a lifeline after retirement, and authorities have to ensure that pension funds are protected to end old age poverty. Reporting for ZTM Prime, I am Melissa Chatkobo in Harare.
A surge in train-related accidents. Andrew Kunambura joins us after the break as we talk and discuss about this. Stay with us.
Win big in the EcoCash Chakachaya Ziawaku EcoCash promotion with over 200,000 winners. Earn at least 20 points when you cash in, send money, buy airtime or data, make payments, receive money from the diaspora, or receive your salary via EcoCash. And you could be in the running to win an all-expenses-paid trip to watch an AFCON match in Morocco, a holiday for 2 in Dubai, solar kits, cows, fridges, gas stoves, motorbikes, cash, airtime, and so much more. It's simple. Simply transact, earn points, and win in the Chakachaya Ziawaku EcoCash promotion. Dial *151# or use the EcoCash app now. EcoCash. Live life the EcoCash way.
Asilwela ukunqoba kuphela. Kepha silwela ukwakha isizwe esinohlonze. Sekunjalo.
Harare. Tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Now, government has intensified its efforts to raise public awareness on the Constitution through campaigns being rolled out in various districts across the country. Now, this program is being carried out in all the country's official languages. Our ZTN correspondent, Selina Nyamangara, who was in Guruve, Mashondlen Central at one of these awareness programs, filed the following report.
Section 7 of the Constitution mandates the government to promote public awareness of the Constitution to be taught in schools and included in curricula for training members of the security services, the civil service, and employees of the public institutions. It is under this mandate that the government is targeting local communities, providing copies of the Constitution in 16 local languages, including sign language and Braille, ensuring that everyone has access to knowledge of their rights in a language they understand.
We are touring around the country, ensuring that the Constitution reaches all parts of the country. And the advantages of having the people know the Constitution is that it will deepen their knowledge on the Constitution. They then will be in a position to know what's required of them, what rights do they have, which should be maintained.
In Guruve and Impire districts, where this program is being implemented this week, community members have praised the initiative, expressing newfound awareness of their rights.
Saka akauya murimi wechishona zvinotibatsira kuti dzimwe nguva vanhu vaya kuworkshop vangatadza kunge vabata zvaitaurwapo asi vakatakura mabhuks aya kumba vari voga vanokwanisa vega nekutsanangurirana vachiverenga.
Ngatongoti kubva bumbiro iri raparurwa mugore ra2013 hatina kumbogara tawana mukana wakadai wekuti tinotovhurawo bhuku kuti kusvika taripedza kubva chapter yekutanga kusvika yekupedzisira. Neni wacho ndanga ndisingatozivi kuti constitution yedu ine machapter anosvika ku18 neuwando hwawo andaona uye nekududzirwa kwezvimwe zvimapoka zvidiki. Semudzimai ndanga ndisingazive zvinhu zvakawanda zvandabatsirwa nazvo.
Elderly residents have also embraced this opportunity to learn, highlighting their commitment to applying what they have learned to promote harmony within the community.
Ndinokwanisa kuudza vana vangu nzira dzokuzvibata nadzo uye nekunyatsochengedza unhu hwavo uye mukuchengetedza unhu also vanenge vachitochengetedza nenyika.
Saka zvinhu zvandotongoziva chete kuti ndichibva pano ndofanira kutongoenda ndichinokurudzira semazonge sikati semazuva ese kune vasara kumusha kuti nyika ndeyedu. Saka nyika yedu inoda kuchengetedzwa nesu ndisu varidzi vaene.
Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for Guruve North Tendai Pinduka pledged to continue spearheading this program to ensure that the majority of the constituents benefit from the initiative.
Mutungamiriri wenyika vanogara vachitaura kuti hakuna nzvimbo kana munhu anofanira kusara kumashure. Saka kuuya kwavaita kuno tinozvigamuchira zvikuru uyezve muchaona kuti vanhu vauya pano vashoma asi vakasara kumatunhu ndo vakawanda. Saka ratova basa redu nesuwo sevamiriri venharaunda kuti tiendese nemamwewo madepartments ese ari muno shoko iroro.
Zimbabwe's 2013 constitution, adopted after a referendum, replaced the heavily amended 1980 constitution, which had been the product of the Lancaster House Agreement. The path to the 2013 constitution involved extensive negotiations among political parties and a public outreach program. Now, with these awareness programs, hopes are that they will empower citizens to understand and utilize the Constitution for self-advancement and protection, and to promote a more informed and engaged citizenry. Reporting for ZTN Prime in Guruve, I am Selina Nyamangara.
The National Railways of Zimbabwe has raised concerns over an increase in level crossing accidents. In a statement, the NRZ revealed that during the first half of the year, 13 level crossing accidents were recorded, resulting in 13 injuries. 10 people were hit by trains while walking on or near railway tracks, leading to 4 deaths and 6 injuries. Now, the number of accidents and deaths recorded so far this year almost matches the figure recorded the whole of last year. NRZ spokesperson Andrew Kunambura joins us live to discuss this matter in detail. Andrew, very good evening to you. Now, recently, the National Railways of Zimbabwe issued a warning following a surge in railway-related accidents. What is the company doing to prevent such incidents from happening going forward?
Yeah, it is true that as NRZ we have witnessed a surge in accidents involving trains, particularly people that are knocked down by trains as they walk on the railway tracks, and also incidents whereby motorists disobey level crossing regulations and end up being hit by trains at these level crossing points. These are the two prevalent cases which we have witnessed in our system, and as a result we have launched a major nationwide awareness campaign together with relevant stakeholders like the Traffic Safety Council of Zimbabwe and the Zimbabwe Republic Police, so that we can help to save lives, we can also help to save property and also NRZ infrastructure in the process.
Now, the NRZ did bemoan operational and financial impacts of these accidents. What measures have you put in place to help you recover from such crises?
And because these accidents affect us in terms of our turnaround and transit times, so we don't really want to see these accidents happening. So the exercise started today, that's the 8th of July 2025 in Bulawayo at the Luveve crossing point, and also Mahachula level crossing points, and we anticipate to spread it throughout the railway system. Remember, we have over 2,700 kilometers of railway line, so we intend to cover the entire system to ensure that everywhere where there's a possibility of such incidents happening, we raise awareness.
Well then, just our last question. Are we likely to see any technological advancement in awareness campaigns that can assist pedestrians who walk along the railway tracks?
What we want is to significantly reduce these incidents from happening. If at all we can obliterate them. We are also moving around, sprucing up these level crossing so that we improve visibility, so that motorists can actually see there's a level crossing when they approach it. And also we will include traffic light, the flashlights, so that whenever a train comes, they can be visible and people can be able to stop and observe, because the golden rule for every level crossing is when you approach it, assume there's a train coming, stop at that level crossing, check both sides before proceeding. This is the message during these nationwide campaigns which we are trying to drive home.
Oh, Andrew, thank you so much for your time and for joining us. That was Andrew Kunambura, spokesperson with the NRZ, in light of the increase in train and railway related accidents. Now, the Chinhoyi Provincial Heroes Acre, home to the legendary Chinhoyi Seven, is set to undergo a major transformation in honor of Zimbabwe's liberation struggle and its founding heroes. The facelift comes as the country prepares for the Heroes and Defence Forces Day celebrations set for next month. Our Mashonaland West correspondent Conrad Mpesa gives us the following report.
It was on April 28, 1966, when 7 gallant sons of the soil, Christopher Chatambudza, Simon Chingoja, Godwin Dube, Chabi Sawana, Arthur Maramba, David Guzuzu, and Godfrey Swazindlovu, stood their ground in a fierce gun battle against Rhodesian forces. Their remains are believed to rest near this monument, which has now become both a shrine of remembrance and a symbol of national pride. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter. Construction has officially commenced on the facelift of the provincial shrine, led by Wanjin Agricultural Development under the Zimbabwe Defence Forces.
That is going to be our first phase. And Honorable Minister, take my word, this is going to be done in the next 21 days. Before the Heroes Acre, it is either the Minister of Defence herself or Watatumira, one of the generals, to come and hand you over until we have done the first phase. Vakumana ndakawana madeko akuya kuzovaka and vachasane malai vachashana nousiku, and that I will make sure it's done. We will have this working.
The overhaul also includes the construction of a guard room and the upgrading of the quarter guard saluting area, as well as installation of lighting to enhance security visibility.
This is going to be best, I'm telling you. And the museum and monuments, hanzi na president nyika inovakwa igochengetwa nevenevayo. Ndokukumbirisai kuti we have to make sure kuti tachengetedza mudziyo uno wachavambirwa ne-defense forces nema-China, ma-friends edu from the east, kuti tinyatsoichengetedza iva chidadiso chekuti vana nevazukuru vedu vanokwanisa kuuya vachizodzidza vonyatsoappreciate the history.
In later phases, a funeral parlor will be built and the iconic 7 Heroes Monument will be revamped. The adjacent 40-kilometer military cemetery will also receive significant upgrades. Officials hope the upgraded shrine will not only preserve the legacy of Zimbabwe's heroes, but also become an educational and tourism hub for the future generations. From the resting place of the Chinhoyi Seven, a powerful reminder echoes: the struggle for freedom came at a great cost. As the nation builds and remembers, this shrine stands as a beacon of courage, unity, and national pride. For ZTN Prime in Chinhoyi, I'm Conrad Mpesa.
The government of Zimbabwe, in partnership with UNICEF, is launching a civil registration drive targeting hard-to-reach areas. The initiative aims to increase birth registration coverage, currently at 57%, and ensure every citizen has a legal identity and access to essential services. By deploying mobile registration units to schools and communities, the government is bringing its services closer to the people. Civil Registration Department's Deputy Director General Christina Chikerema said the department is increasing access to legal documentation through mobile birth, death, and national ID drives.
What is happening here is part of a broader program that the Civil Registry Department is embarking on in collaboration with UNICEF. A program where we are going around the 8 rural provinces of Zimbabwe and targeting especially the hard-to-reach areas. I'm sure you saw how it was so hard for you to reach this area. So we are going to those areas to issue birth certificates, death certificates, national IDs. Our main goal is to fulfill the key priority area of provision of legal identity for all by 2030. And by targeting hard-to-reach areas, we are ensuring that we leave no one and no place behind.
You are watching Newsplus. We'll be right back after this.
Crowd goes absolutely emphatic. He has done it.
Get ready for more on Supersport, the only place to watch all the FIFA Club World Cup.
Didn't graduate. I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoilt.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
The guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
Welcome back. Now, when I look at news from around the world, we started off in South Africa with the President Cyril Ramaphosa having opposed what he calls the unilateral higher trade tariffs imposed on his country by the US. US President Donald Trump announced on Monday that he would subject imports from South Africa to a new 30% tariff from the 1st of August. It is the only country from sub-Saharan Africa that Trump singled out in his announcement. Now, in a letter to President Ramaphosa, Trump said South Africa's trade relationship with the US has been far from reciprocal. In his response, Ramaphosa maintained that the 30% tariff is not an accurate representation of available trade data. Trump also sent letters to South Africa and 13 other countries informing them of his latest tariff plans. Now, Brazilian Environment and Climate Change Minister Marina Silva has warned that the world now faces mounting threats from both geopolitical instability and the accelerating climate crisis. The minister said the worsening climate crisis is more challenging, pointing to recent deadly extreme weather events in the United States as a stark example. The catastrophic flash flooding in Texas has reportedly claimed at least 104 lives, with dozens still missing as of Monday.
O contexto geopolítico é desafiador e o contexto do agravamento da mudança do clima é mais desafiador ainda, porque nós estamos vendo o que aconteceu nos Estados Unidos, um evento climático extremo que já ceifou dezenas de vidas de pessoas inocentes.
Still with the BRICS Summit, participants of the BRICS Summit in Rio de Janeiro have held its outcomes as pivotal steps towards reshaping global governance, emphasizing the group's role in driving sustainable development, addressing climate change, and fostering inclusive international cooperation. In his closing remarks, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva highlighted BRICS leadership potential, stressing that BRICS countries should lead the way in establishing new development paradigms for global governments and improve the lives of people nationwide.
Acho que a China tem papel-chave cada vez mais, né? A China vem nas últimas décadas sendo dos grandes, né, motores da economia global e vem se tornando, acho também nos últimos anos, dos grandes drivers, né, de transição energética e da descarbonização.
In Thailand, the billion-dollar rice industry would be exposed to major risks if its trade negotiations with the U.S. fail, as the Trump government is threatening a 36% tariff on the country. While the U.S. is not Thailand's largest rice consumer, it remains a critical market for high-value varieties, especially the premium jasmine rice. Now, rice growers in the country are facing a harsh reality, with dwindling margins and the looming threat of unsustainable debt with just one failed harvest.
ตัวผมเองบางทีก็มีเงินก้อนเวลาช่วงเกี่ยวมาแล้วเนี่ยข้าวไม่ได้ราคาเนี่ยเงินก็ต้องใช้ไปใช่ไหมใช้ในครอบครัวใช้ในการลงทุนเงินช่วงนั้นได้มานิดหน่อยเนี่ยมันก็ต้องขาดช่วงใช่ไหมพอขาดช่วงปุ๊บตัวนี้ก็ลำบากแล้วชาวบ้านทั่วไปหนีไม่พ้นเลยครับลำบากมากด้วยประเทศเป็นแรงขับเคลื่อนเศรษฐกิจของประเทศสิ่งที่เราเป็นห่วงเพราะว่าการส่งข้าวไปสหรัฐเนี่ยเรามีปริมาณการส่งข้าวไปค่อนข้างเยอะปีประมาณตั้ง 800,000 กว่าตัน
Over in Germany, representatives from various sectors of Germany have expressed their concerns over the U.S. tariff policies, noting that the U.S. move undermines the multilateral trade order, threatens the European economy, and disrupts global industrial chains. With the clock ticking down to the U.S. President Donald Trump's July 9th deadline for the U.S.-European Union trade talks, the German business community condemned the U.S. tariffs, saying they are damaging international trust, undermining global supply chain stability, and stifling innovation. German stakeholders also warned that the United States itself will face increased product costs and a deteriorating investment climate if it presses ahead with the tariffs.
Handel beschränkt all dies, macht Produkte auch teurer und verhindert Innovationen, Handelsbeschränkungen, Zölle. In den Vereinigten Staaten werden jetzt Produkte teurer, dort werden Investitionen teurer, weil manche Güter gibt es in den USA selbst nicht. Diese Einschränkungen werden eines Tages wieder enden, weil jeder wird merken, dass das nicht der richtige Weg ist. Es wird sich zeigen in der Geschichte, der Wirtschaftsgeschichte, dass Freihandel und miteinander arbeiten und miteinander vertrauen, dass es immer besser funktioniert.
Now we take a look at some business news.
Harare, tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Captain Wally J's about to take you to boot camp.
It's the riveting science and tech show that keeps you up to date with the hottest gizmos on the block and revealing the illustrious and innovative visionaries in Zimbabwe. So much to see, you'll keep swiping.
This cherry red beauty is the Dairy Auto M7 mini electric car.
They've designed our brute force incubator board.
Look at what we've got here.
Solar powered scarecrow was part of the project that I was supposed to complete.
Catch Swipe every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. on ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294. Get the picture?
Welcome back. Now we take a look at some business news. Now, Zimbabwe's largest beverage manufacturer, Delta Corporation, says steep sugar prices and a high sugar tax are squeezing local producers and pushing consumers towards cheaper imports. Delta gave oral evidence before Parliament's Industry and Commerce Committee, highlighting concerns over pricing and competitiveness in the sugar value chain.
The Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Industry and Commerce today heard
oral evidence from Zimbabwe Stock Exchange listed Delta Corporation on challenges affecting the sugar value chain. At the center of the issue, steep sugar prices and a tax regime Delta says is undermining competitiveness. Sugar remains a major ingredient in Delta's carbonated soft drinks and cordials alongside concentrates and water.
Our colleagues out in Tongat, they also follow the trends in the pricing of sugar on the international markets. So in some cases, even when there is no cost pressure on the local market, they also want to get prices that align with the international markets.
In an effort to remain competitive, Delta has at times resorted to importing sugar, which has been about $100 per ton cheaper than local supplies. However, a new statutory instrument introduced in 2025 now imposes a 30% duty on imported sugar on top of the landing costs. Delta told the committee that regional comparisons expose Zimbabwe's sugar tax as another stumbling block. In 2024, the sugar tax was introduced at $0.01 per gram, driving the prices of sugar added soft drinks up by about 15 to 45%. Although the tax has since been halved, it remains 3 times steeper compared to South Africa's health promotion levy.
Before the list that was done by government, all the Coca-Cola that you're seeing in Manicaland was coming out of Mozambique. Because the sugar tax out of in Mozambique, we're still seeing, as of today, a lot of product that is coming out of Zambia, mainly because Zambia is a commercial country. And the duties that are imposed in some cases do not apply.
Meanwhile, major sugar producer Star Africa says demand for industrial sugar remains weak, with the sugar tax on beverages weighing heavily on key clients in the beverages sector. The parliamentary committee wants players in the sugar value chain to collaborate more and support local sourcing.
I think we can find each other. Tongat, Delta, and all other players. Let's just go in one room. Let's discuss this. We don't need 2 days. 1 day you should be able to find each other.
The sugar tax is meant to raise revenue for the healthcare sector, channeled towards cancer treatment and critical equipment, but players warn that without a balancing framework, competitiveness and local jobs could be at risk. Eben Mabunda, reporting for ZTN Prime at Zimbabwe's Parliament in Mount Hampton.
The Airports Company of Zimbabwe is satisfied with its performance so far this year and will continue upholding good corporate governance as well as the expectations of its shareholders by fulfilling the goals of the National Development Strategy. This sentiment was shared during ACZ's mid-term strategic review held in Harare, aimed at assessing operational performance and strategic direction. Board Chairman Advocate John Muhonde expressed enthusiasm regarding the company's recent performance.
The purpose of a strategic review is to have a pause as a company, board and management to reflect on the performance of the organization to date between January and June 2025. And we are happy that by doing this, we are not only reviewing our own performance but also complying with the law, the COCA, also complying with good corporate governance, and also complying with the expectations of our shareholder, and ensuring that we fulfill the NDS1 as well as our vision as a company and the country towards Vision 2030. As the board chairperson, I'm happy and pleased to report that we are very satisfied with the performance to date. As you are aware, the Airports Company of Zimbabwe is a young company, having been formed in 2018, and it is the only government aviation business anyway in Zimbabwe. We are happy that there is progress.
Still in business, the Beitbridge Business Expo has announced plans to develop showgrounds for the 2026 event after being allocated 13 hectares of land by the local municipality along the main highway leading to Blayo. The initiative seeks to make Beitbridge an investment destination of choice. The expo is designed to draw a diverse mix of entrepreneurs, small and medium-sized enterprises, and large corporations from across the region, all eager to explore new opportunities and forge meaningful connections. Now, this year's event is running under the theme Beitbridge 24/7, a concept aimed at fostering a culture of round-the-clock service delivery by local providers in the border town.
As the expo grows, quality becomes of essence, and we need to look at growing the footprint of the expo and also ensuring that the exhibitors who are putting effort in putting up their displays actually get the recognition that they deserve. Remember, this is our last year on the ground. We are intending to go onto the new showgrounds that the municipality of Beitbridge allocated us last year. We have already started the landscaping, and we definitely are going to be on track for this process to be done next year.
And now for some entertainment news.
Catch exclusive interviews every weekday for candid, exciting, and thought-provoking conversations with your host, Erika Ndoro.
We talk about arts, we can talk about sports, we can even talk about politics, and sometimes we venture into a nice guitaristic play.
The one story where you can't get out of your head. Wakatarisa munhu so Erika, like where you are sitting. Ndozongokona bata face so pasina munhu.
Wakasiya music yako yo afro chakuti ndo music manje no Zimbabwe.
And I'm sure they're still saying the same thing now.
Yeah, so
Shona kana kuti chindevere kana mumwe mutaure muno muZimbabwe ndiwe iwewe ndiwo rupawo rwako ndicho chidadiso chako.
Catch me, Erika Ndoro, right here on ZTN Prime every single Monday at 7 p.m. whilst we get exclusive.
Now look at entertainment news tonight. Artists are calling for the revision of Zimbabwe's art education syllabus to include essential business skills, saying creative talent alone is not enough to sustain careers in the growing creative economy. Speaking on ZTN Prime's The Mint, multidisciplinary artist Masimba Wati said many young creatives struggle because they lack basic business literacy.
So when we went to art school, it was purely art. We were not taught the business side of art.
Okay.
The syllabus did not have that. But this is something that you have to contend with throughout your career. You have to also deal with the business side of art. So I think the first thing is to rethink the educational policy on art, or maybe to rethink the current syllabi of art. How do we cross-pollinate the idea of art? How do we get business to be a small part of art?
On that same show, Professor Michael Gold of the University of Michigan added that artists must understand contracts, intellectual property, and how to pitch to investors.
It's becoming more and more important for example, I teach at the University of Michigan, so it's important for our students to be well versed in music business and even contract law and intellectual property rights, things that are super important when they leave school and they start signing contracts and trying to earn money, that they understand the legalese behind what they're doing and that they retain their intellectual property. So I think it's really important. And for Masimba and I, as a Zebra Collective, you know, we talk about, okay, well, we're also a business. You know, we would love to make art.
Still in entertainment, foreign-based Zimbabwean gospel musician Khululi Bebe is set to reunite with his homeland audience as he brings a powerful gospel festival dubbed the Ultimate Praise to Bulawayo. It is scheduled for the 6th of December at a venue that is yet to be announced, and the event will run under the theme Careful for Nothing Praise. Bebe revealed that the vision behind the Ultimate Praise was born more than a decade ago and will come to life this year. He also said that he hopes to make the event an annual event feature and a household name in the gospel music industry. When Newsplus comes back, we discuss the capital city's budget allocation to sport. Stay with us. Now, the city of Harare is dedicating 7% of its annual budget towards sports development in a bold move to revive sporting excellence in the capital. This is aimed at nurturing grassroots talent and modernizing neglected facilities. Speaking ahead of the City of Harare Sports Symposium set for the 11th of July, Mayor Jacob Mafume appealed to the corporate sector to partner with the city.
We have redoubled our efforts as the City of Harare to focus on sports. We received a directive from government that 7% of our budget must go to sports, and we are going to do exactly that. We have had meetings with the Minister of Sports, the previous one, and the current Minister of Sports, and we are in sync in terms of what we are doing.
Citing International Olympic Committee President Kirsty Coventry and a long line of football stars as products of Harare's sporting ecosystem, the mayor really did underscore the city's potential to groom more champions if given the right support.
We need to nurture this talent. There is a lot of talent. There's something in the air in Zimbabwe that produces great sports persons, and we need to keep nurturing that in terms of our facility.
Now let's talk rugby. The Zimbabwe senior men's rugby team kick-started their Rugby Africa Cup tournament with a thrilling 43-8 victory over Morocco in Uganda today. Morocco drew first blood, dotting down first in rainy conditions at the Nelson Mandela Stadium. However, the Sables responded with a show of strength, scoring 4 tries through Tapio Mafura, Edward Sigauke, Dylan Utete and Trevor Gurui. Men of the match, Ian Pryor, impressed with the boot converting all 4 tries and successfully kicking 5 out of 5 penalties. The Sables are targeting qualification for the 2027 Men's Rugby World Cup tournament in Australia and will face Kenya in the semi-finals.
I think you can see the Zimbabweans, they prefer playing in nice sunny conditions, so we managed to end the game well. We thought that it would start raining, it came a little bit earlier, but fortunately I think we handled the conditions quite well. Our trip to Korea certainly helped us there, where we played in torrential rain. So handling the wet conditions, hopefully we did all right. No, we'll be taking it a game at a time. This was a tricky assignment. Moroccans have done well for the last year or so. Next up, we will be playing Kenya or Uganda, so that's a massive quarterfinal coming up. We're going to play a regional powerhouse, so we're going to have to be at our best if we're going to compete in the semi-final.
Ian Pryor underlined his importance to the team with an outstanding man of the match performance against Morocco, but praised the entire squad's contribution in the victory.
It was exciting. Obviously, a bit of a nervous start there from the boys. We haven't played in a little while, and a lot of nerves, a lot of excitement. Game 1, 10 a.m. kickoff, so a few different things there. But the game had everything. A little bit of rain, a little bit of sunshine, and the forwards laid a good platform, and the backs took some nice options. Yeah, look, it was good for them to get some good minutes in a high-pressure situation there. You know, it's not just the squad of 15 that's going to take us through this tournament, it's a squad of 31. So, you know, we're really strong there, there's a good vibe, and it's just the first game. We've got 2 games to go, we've got plenty of improvement left for us to keep going for.
Now, unlike the Sables, the Zimbabwe senior men's cricket team crumbled as they lost by an innings and 236 runs in the second and final test match against South Africa at Queen's Sports Club as the Proteas clinched the 2-match test series 2-0. On the follow-on, the Chevrons were bowled out for 220 in the second innings, with Nick Welch top scoring with 55, his 3rd test half-century. But another poorer showing with the bat was the Chevrons' undoing. Chevrons' head coach Justin Samuels admitted their performance was not good enough.
We're not good enough at the end of the day. So that is the standard, you know. If we want to be competing with the best, that's the standard. And unfortunately, we fell well short of it. just from a skill level point of view, just way off the mark. Well, I think there's been lessons learned. You can see the lessons that have been learned if you listen to the group speak. You know, the way we're talking, etc. The way we're preparing has improved a lot. But at the end of the day, it's still about executing those lessons, and that's where we're falling short. So I think the lessons have been, they know what they're trying to do. It's just we're not able to achieve it at the end of the day against a quality opposition. And I suppose again, the more we play that opposition, hopefully the more they get used to it, and eventually we do start executing those lessons that have been spoken about, I'll say.
Despite the heavy loss, someone still took some positives from the series.
There's always, there has been positives. I think in particular the way Chavanga has come out and stepped up to the plate. He's really made big improvements. Larry's speaking about improvements. There's been improvements there with him. I think his control has certainly got better, and he's shown his wicket-taking ability. Speaking to the opposition, they felt the same. They felt that he was a real threat. So I think that for me is a big positive. Again, Sean Williams was exceptional throughout the series. He showed his world class. That is for certain. And then there's always little sort of moments that have possibly take note in the change room. At the end of the day, like I say, we're still bitterly disappointed.
Up next, the Chevrons will take part in a T20 International Tri-Series with South Africa and New Zealand, which starts at Harare Sports Club on the 14th of July. Now, in some local football news, Caps United defender Bruce Kangwa continues to rewrite his story as he plays his heart out and is always delivering consistent performances whilst anchoring his team with the wisdom of a veteran. The 37-year-old, who returned home in January of 2024 to join Caps United after a stellar year tenure in Tanzania, believes hard work is the only solution to a long footballing career.
The only thing is always work hard and focus, because you know what you want, especially to the small boys that they are coming up. Work hard, sky's the limit, you never know tomorrow. So they have to work hard every day, push each and every day. When coach giving you instruction, take it from there. Work very hard, keep working, you'll get it right.
Despite a slow start to the season, Caps United have managed to turn the corner, and Kangwa gave credit to his teammates and the fans who continue pushing the team forward.
All the boys are working very hard. Everyone is pushing every day. We know what we started our season very low, but now the boys are picking up everything. Boys are working hard to get the result that everyone is needed. For the fans, for us, they are always giving us support. They are always behind us. So we are working very hard to give them what they deserve. I always tell the boys, like, let's work us. Things will come up. You know, the supporters, they always need the positive results. So every time when we get the negative results, they will come on us. By coming on us, they are pushing us to give us something. So as for the boys, I always tell them, let's push. We'll give them the positive results. They will be happy soon.
That concludes our bulletin this Tuesday evening. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Faith Nyaude. We leave you with the weather forecast. Good evening and enjoy the rest of your viewing.